Hi everyone, today is Thursday, November 21st, and Mark has 228 days left to go in his sentence, and that is really not a lot. We're getting so much closer. We don't think he's getting transferred. The Conservatives have been pretty much terrible on that. We don't expect him to be brought home any sooner than next July, August. So that's when he'll be back, and we'll begin touring and campaigning and doing the same as always, and we appreciate everybody's support. I have some photos that we took, and these are in front of the bridge. I think it's supposed to be like San Francisco, so a place we will never get to go ever. But these are the pictures we received from Saturday, October 19th and Sunday the 20th. And poor Mark, he's always complaining that his stomach looks gigantic, and I keep telling him it's just those terrible clothing that they give you. And we're allowed to hug each other and touch each other during these photos, but as you may know from watching the show, we aren't allowed to hold hands anymore during our visits. But I'll be visiting him this weekend. I fly down there to Mississippi tomorrow morning, bright and early, and I'll be able to sit with him and talk, and we're stretching out the visits, so I think this is my 9th last visit, which really isn't a lot. We're really close to the end of the year, and it's super exciting that we're just getting through the final stretches. So I've been keeping busy. Last Friday, I went to 2 different political events. The first one was the NPA, the Nonpartisan Association. That's a local government party here in town, and I've been to a few of their events by invitation through members, and I've been asked to run for the Parks Board last time around, but I didn't commit to that. I just didn't have the time. But they've been very interesting. They're pro-business, and I am a business owner, and not all businesses are big and bad and evil, so I like the idea of some of the things they can do to help small businesses like mine continue to grow. So I went to their little press conference meeting, and the press asked the party about me being there, so that was pretty interesting. It was good to see some people there who actually came over and said hello and asked about Mark. And then later on I went to UBC, the University of British Columbia, where the Young Liberals were holding a meeting with Cash Heed, whom I ran against in 2009. He became the member of the legislature for the riding of Vancouver-Fraserview, and he used to be a cop and turned into a legalization advocate. So he was on a panel along with Mark Hayden, who is retiring from his career in drug policy here in Vancouver. But it was a fantastic discussion hosted by Joyce Murray, who's a member of Parliament for Vancouver area here, and she's also an advocate for legalization now too, because the Liberal Party of Canada favors legalization. So that was a great event to go to. It was interesting. I actually learned stuff. You might think you know everything about drug policy or legalization if you're an activist, but there's always more you can learn and different ways to look at things. So it's good to sit there and listen sometimes and not actually be the one talking. It was nice to hear some more ideas and perspectives. So that was really good. And then on Monday, I got to go with our dear friend Dana Larson to a fancy little shindig at the City of Vancouver, or the Vancouver Club. It's this city special kind of members only place that's really swanky, and it was hosting an event for Vancouver Magazine, which announced 50 Power 50 people of Vancouver, where they named 50 people who have had a big impact in Vancouver and beyond. And of course the premier was number 1, Christy Clark, who won the election even though everybody didn't like her beforehand, and she had no expectation of winning, or nobody expected her to win, but she did, so she's number 1 on that powerful list because somehow she gets stuff done. And Dana Larson for Sensible BC Work is number 44 on the list. He's in the next issue of December's issue of Vancouver Magazine, and I didn't bring my copy here, but we'll show you some shots here of Dana, and I have a photo of Dana accepting his award on the stage. He invited me to be his guest. It was just a little meet and greet, and we saw a few different politicians, and we actually got a little run-in with Christy Clark at the exit. We were leaving at the same time when everybody else was still upstairs at the party. We were both all sneaking out together, and we had a good talk with her. She actually gave some encouraging support towards Dana. I don't know if that means she signed the referendum to decriminalize, but we did get a good talk. She recognized me, asked how I'm doing. She's had me on her radio show before she was premier, and she knows about Mark, and she knows me, and so that was nice for her to actually be, well, I think she's sincere. She does things I don't agree with, and she's a politician, but she did stop and talk to Dana and me, and she didn't have to, and I think she agrees with us, but she also knows what the realities are of prohibition and the powerful forces that keep it in place. So she's working on energy and China business deals, whatever. So that was interesting, though, to run into her, and I'm glad that she was able to give Dana some support, because Sensible BC is wrapping up. They're in their final week of campaigning, and it's so very, very close. But even if it doesn't succeed this time around, the campaign will continue. This is just a piece of legislation that can be introduced in our legislature by any party. So even if we get somebody elected or get someone already elected to submit this into the legislature to be considered, it can be done, and we'll keep pushing to have it done. And Mark will be here next year to help make it so. So the Sensible BC campaign, you can check it out and show your support, especially if you're here in British Columbia and in the Lower Mainland of Vancouver. We really need people collecting signatures, and I feel terrible I can't be doing more on that front, but I really am appreciative of everyone out there who is working without being recognized in the media, but they're doing the actual groundwork, the actual signature gathering, which is essential for this to succeed. So thank you to all the Sensible BC volunteers, and we're going to be giving you guys a formal happy party celebration to recognize your work as well. So thank you for that. And on Tuesday, I know this keeps going on, it's been busy. Tuesday I had my Global News BC1 panel discussion, and as usual, every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, depending on if I might get a freebie in, I talk about 3 different news stories of the day, and they are random news stories about artwork funded by cities for hospitals or all sorts of random stuff out of the newspapers. And the first topic of this Tuesday's show was gang violence in Surrey, which is an area here that has a lot of unsavory elements, or whatever they might want to call it. And so the police in the city are having a task force, and they're talking about what they can do to end the gang and drug problem, blah, 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 blah. And so I said we need to, of course, end prohibition to address it. And they went, oh yeah, we should end prohibition of marijuana, but not other drugs. And I said, yeah, we should legalize all drugs. And it turned into a really awesome, fun debate, because I had somebody debating me who didn't feel the same way. And it's really hard to find somebody to debate these days. So I loved every moment of it. Barinder, she's a wonderful woman, a city councillor in Surrey, actually, and so she's very familiar with it, but we disagreed on that, and it turned into a very interesting debate. And I'll have those videos uploaded to my Jodie Emery YouTube account, because they aren't really all pot related. They're just me talking about news stories and stuff on a local network here, and I guess I should share that with everybody. Mark keeps telling me that I should. So stay tuned, and I will get those uploaded. I promise I will do that. Now, Jeremiah, the editor of Cannabis Culture, is going off to Amsterdam, courtesy of wonderful support of the Sublimator team, flying him off to go hang out with the Greenhouse team. And high times, guys. All of these wonderful people in the industry are welcoming Cannabis Culture to the Cannabis Cup out in Amsterdam. And of course, we haven't had anybody go to these sort of functions in a very long time. I don't know if Greg remembers when the last Cannabis Cup coverage was, when our team went there and actually, went and covered it long ago. I don't even remember it. It was before my time, which is almost a decade. So that's pretty wild. And Jeremiah gets to go and experience that, and he's excited, no doubt. And we'll be bringing you coverage through video and articles and photos, of course, when he goes there and does all that. So we won't be seeing him doing a show this Friday, I don't think, but he'll be covering all of it from Amsterdam. And thank you to Enrico and the Sublimator team. He's not here, but he's usually around, and we really appreciate that you're giving us this opportunity to cover the movement in a new way, an exciting time. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I showed you guys the pictures and all, and you can send Mark letters if you'd like, but I'm going to finish up here. I've got to go to an event for a friend who has a TV network coming out connected to Idea City, which I spoke at about the drug war and Mark, and it's a lot of stuff going on right now. Busy times, exciting times. I'm honored and privileged to be a part of it, and I hope you're all doing what you can too to make a difference every day. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Free Mark Emery and all the drug war prisoners.